You're standing on soil, and 1 teaspoon of soil has more microbes in it than there's a population of humans on this planet. 1 teaspoon, 8 billion microbes. That's what we're living off of. That's what filters our water, that's what filters our food. We have to do a good job with that. Because if we do a good job with that, it makes everything work. If it's not working, that's because we're not taking care of the soil.
Everything starts from the soil. We walk on it all the time without paying any attention to it or giving it a second thought. But if we didn't have proper soil health, we wouldn't have a habitat in which to grow crops. We wouldn't be able to grow grass, which is a crop that we put into livestock. We wouldn't have clean and abundant water. It all depends on a healthy soil.
Unfortunately, I feel like people won't notice soil until it's not providing all these services that we rely on. I think people will someday look back and be like, man, we probably should have started this sooner. So in my mind, healthy soil is soil that's functioning, so it works. When it's functioning, it provides all these different services for us. So it's capturing carbon, it's filtering water, it's growing crops, it's supporting wildlife, it's supporting our fisheries. All these different things that are really important to us are tied back to a healthy, functioning soil. I don't think there's anything more important than our soil, and particularly our intact, functioning soils. To maintain a functioning soil, it needs to be armored. It needs to be covered as much as possible. It needs to have a diverse plant community feeding it. It can't be disturbed all the time, one way or the other. And I think livestock needs to be involved too to stimulate nutrient cycling and keep that soil active. And so when we look at the agricultural system here in the Ruby Valley, where we're growing hay, we're growing some grain, and we're raising beef, a lot of those things are occurring as a result of this type of system. I think that the people in the Ruby Valley care deeply about the land. I think it's a special place. So the Upper Ruby is dominated by native rangelands and forest and beautiful sagebrush grasslands. Most of that is public land that provides incredible opportunities for both grazing as well as the public to recreate, hunt, and fish. As you move down the valley, there's more and more private land and irrigated land, and that's where we grow the hay to support all those cattle that will go up on the forest. And there's just this really important and cool relationship between the public and private lands, and both of them need each other to work.
Yeah, here in the Ruby Valley, the ranchers are real open about different techniques they're trying, and so a lot of times just casual visits. You learn from your neighbor, and the neighbor's trying something different than you are.
With this bunch of cows, and then they'll leave, and then we'll take another run through before winter, and then we'll be done, and we won't come back. So in 2007, we changed our practices from kind of a conventional tradition agriculture, where we take all of our irrigated pastures and hay them, and turn those into a grazing pattern, either whichever you want to call it, time grazing or management intensive grazing. The management part is what's intensive. The cows come into a pasture about 30 acres, and there's 250, and they'll be there for anywhere from 2 to 4 days. Looking at it now, it'd be really hard to go back, because for me, the indicators of soil health are everything that's right here. You know, we're looking at 6 different types of grasses and 4 different types of legumes right here. And orchard grass and smooth brome and Kentucky bluegrass. You start to see different types of birds, and you start seeing different types of wildlife coming in. You step on the soil and it feels soft, you know, and it has some give to it, and it's not as hard as it used to be. There's just life to it.
We're past sustainability. We now need to be talking about regenerative. That's where we're at in the soil business. We're trying to step away from the synthetics. And that, I'm not suggesting that everyone should do that, but for us, I've probably spent 35 of my last career years here in trying to figure out how to biologically enhance our soil. And the best we can do that is using organics, things that are friendly to the microbes. The conventional fertilizer is not.
What we do here is there's no commercial fertilizer applied here. After our cattle calve, then we'll bring them out here and we'll feed them hay. And so all of the additional fertilizer comes from running through a cow.
I feel pretty grateful that we're free to do what we can ourselves and that we're not encumbered by the past so much. Everybody's been pretty progressive and wanting to try new things, and so that's kind of what got us to where we are right now.
Well, in the Ruby Valley, the scariest alternative right now is the conversion of agricultural land into development, into structures, pavement, concrete, which is permanent. We've lost that ability to produce food, we've lost that ability to support wildlife, we've lost that ability to filter and store clean water. When we look at other parts of the state, and not very far from here even, we see that some of the best soils, the most productive soils, are being dug up, they're being covered, they're being lost forever. Once that's gone, it's gone. There's no healthy soil under asphalt.
And to watch this beautiful dirt to be made extinct by asphalt, it actually makes me tear up at times.
The best thing we can do to protect soils in the Ruby Valley is to keep these lands in agricultural production. We have to support the people that are working the land. We have to find ways to maintain the connections between grazing resources in the uplands and the irrigated ground in the bottom, and keep families here.
We're just kind of here for a little while, but the landscape will always be here, you know, taking care of it so that the next generation and generations after can come along and do what they need to do here.
When I look around and I see the numbers of elk and deer and trout and the fact that so many people want to come here to enjoy what we have here, that is 100% a result of the efforts that go into managing land here, both by private and public land managers, people making that effort to conserve these resources. You can see it everywhere you look in the Ruby Valley. We're very fortunate.